has done is brought a whole lot of people to say, hey, you know what? We got to defeat this guy. We have to elect Kamala and Tim to the administration, and we go from there.
Are progressives and liberals, in your opinion, because of this existential threat, finally learning how to work together? Because
it's a complicated question. I think what you have is the idea of coalition politics is something that we're not familiar with in the United States. It exists in Europe all over the place. Mm-hmm. It did recently in France, as you may be familiar with.
Right.
There was a threat of a right-wing movement, Le Pen, similar to Trumpism, and the left, including moderates and center-left and further left people, came together and said, we can't allow this to happen in France. So right now we are united in an honest way to defeat Donald Trump, but do not minimize the differences that exist between progressives and corporate Democrats.
In your speech at the convention, you said that you wanted a ceasefire in Gaza.
We must end this horrific war in Gaza, bring home the hostages, and demand an immediate ceasefire.
Huge applause break moment in the United Center. It was pretty amazing. Everyone cheered. It really was a moment. But I want to talk about that word ceasefire. It means something very different for different people. The meaning of that word seems to be changing in real time. Senator Sanders, what is your definition of the word ceasefire?
If you allow me, let me back it up a little bit.
Sure,
I'll
please.
get there. Okay.
And it's just walking us through.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go through with what happened. On October 7th, Hamas, which is a terrorist organization, invaded Israel and killed 1,200 innocent men, women, and children, took 200 hostages. They are a terrorist organization. Bad news, guys. Israel responded as any government would respond to an attack like that. Israel had the right to defend itself. But what has happened since then is rather than just go after Hamas, a terrorist organization, what Israel, under an extreme right-wing government led by Benjamin Netanyahu, who has in his cabinet people to the right of him who are out and out anti-Palestinian racist. No ifs, buts, and matters. These are racist. So this is the cabinet. What they have done is say, hey, we're not just going to go after Hamas. We're going to go after the Palestinian people. Mm-hmm. And the carnage has been horrific. And we are looking at the worst humanitarian disaster, one of the worst in modern history. And I've been on the floor talking about this a whole lot. So it's not just 30,000. They got a population there in Gaza, 2.2 million, 30,000 dead, mostly women, children, and the elderly. Over 80,000 injured, mostly women, children, and the elderly.
Yes.
You got 1.8 million people, 3/4 of the population displaced. You got it? Taken out of your home.
Yeah.
Oh, and then you moved again, and then you moved again. And it's a young population, a lot of children, okay? You got 65% of the housing damaged or destroyed. Got that?
Right.
So we don't know where these people are going to go back to. There are 12 universities in Gaza. Guess what? Every single one of them has been bombed. They had a fairly decent healthcare system, systematically destroyed. Very few functioning hospitals right now. You got no electricity in Gaza right now. And then as a result of Israel's efforts to deny humanitarian aid, to block humanitarian aid, you're now looking at the possibility of mass starvation, and children right now are malnourished. And when you're a child malnourished, that's permanent. I mean, you may not necessarily die. It'll impact your intellectual development and emotional development. So you got a horror show. Now, what bothers me, I would hope that bothers anybody.
Of course.
But what is even worse is a lot of this is being done with U.S. taxpayer dollars. So what I have insisted on from day one, and one of the few, is to say, you know what? Not another nickel to Netanyahu's extremist government to continue the war against the Palestinian people.
Our new position must be simple and straightforward. Not another nickel for the Netanyahu government if their present policies continue.
As we speak, there's more military aid going to Netanyahu, and I'm going to do my best to block it. Do I think we'll win? No. But there is a provision that you have to block that kind of military aid, and I will do my best to block it.
As I read and internalize the news, they're giving me these updates on the negotiations, and it feels almost like the iTunes user agreement, where we all